What's up, guys? Ashley here. With October being officially over comes the end of our October series. And of course, Taryn and I are always a little bit sad because we just love those scary stories. But guess what? If you're subscribed to our Supercast account, the scary stories don't end here. They continue all year long. And not old reused scary stories, brand new ones that you guys send in. But there's so much more that comes with that as well. You get solo episodes. You can ask Taryn and I questions specifically and we'll answer them like actual AMAs. Ad-free listening and so much more. And it's only $5 a month. It's totally worth the money and you get more of Taryn and I. So check out our Supercast, and if you have a scary story that you want read on it, send it in and title it Super Scary so we know to read it on Supercast.
I've never been more happy, light, peaceful, excited to say,
We are back.
welcome back to
We are
Unsolicited
back.
Advice. Not on the same page at all.
I was thinking of the TikTok sound.
But it's fine. If you've been gone because of October series and you're protecting your peace, we
Welcome
get
back.
it. Honestly,
Welcome back. We missed you.
kind of jealous that I didn't have that option.
Yeah. I have some extra wrinkles on my face from the lack of sleep, for
Don't
sure.
we all?
For sure.
Don't we all? If you have been with us all along, let's all take a collective deep breath. Ready?
That was nice.
Did you feel it?
I feel cleansed.
Feel the shift?
I feel healed. I felt an energy shift.
Yep.
Today's episode is brought to you by JLo Beauty. Okay, guys, I have to come clean about something. You guys know I'm obsessed with skincare and I'm obsessed with my skincare routine. I have to admit something that I'm super embarrassed about. My routine is a little ridiculous. It was a little unrealistic. I felt like it took me over an hour, morning and night, to do my skincare routine, which is just so unrealistic. Like, no one has time for a 13-step beauty routine, right? But guys, your skincare routine doesn't have to be that complicated. Thanks to JLo Beauty. You can get that JLo glow with JLo Beauty's Deluxe Kit, the one and done skincare solution clinically proven to boost your skin's radiance and luminosity for an immediate and lasting glow. The secret is JLo Beauty's 5-step routine featuring 5 multitasking formulas designed to cleanse, refresh, and prep your skin to take on the day. Get the only skincare routine you'll ever need. Head to jlobeauty.com/unsolicited to receive 20% off plus 3 free gifts, including 2 quality face masks and 1 hydrating Beso Balm. Head to jlobeauty.com/unsolicited for 20% off and 3 free gifts of a $175 value. That's jlobeauty.com/unsolicited. We are back. We are back, baby. Welcome back to Unsolicited Advice, the way it was meant to be.
One more time, Ash.
We were back. Back to our roots.
Yeah.
How
Which is
the podcast was meant to be.
Heartbreak.
Solving your life problems. Okay? That's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
That's what you're here to listen to.
Yeah.
And we can't be happier to be back here
Literally.
in a clean, positive state of mind.
Yep. Yeah. It's, I'm not going to lie. This year was probably the roughest for me. I feel like I say that every year, but I swear it's getting worse. I don't think I'm changing. I swear the stories are getting worse.
No, y'all's stories were so scary
Wild.
this last October series, 2024. And we love October series, but I've never been happier to be done with one. And in our entire 5 years of doing this, it was very, very scary. The nightmares were real, and I can't look in a mirror anymore.
Yep.
That's where I'm at.
That's where we're at. So if we look extra haggard, it's because we got ready.
It's real. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not looking. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we should just start by giving any like life updates. Or
yes.
like just what's something like normal we want to talk about.
Something normal? Oh my goodness. Well, as you guys know, I am currently living with my boyfriend for the first time. That has been so much fun. I've been just thoroughly having a blast, like decorating, and like we finally hung up his paintings, which was like a lot of my furniture was put into the apartment, so that gave like my vibe feel. His artwork really like puts up a lot of his vibe feel, and it's been fun.
So incredibly different.
Yes.
which is why it like weirdly works. It's like the opposite effect.
Yeah, 100%. So we finally got those hung up, which was really fun. I feel like every weekend's been so crazy that this last, I mean, I guess we didn't really, but like we had a little bit of like a real like normal stay at home Saturday at the beginning part of Saturday. And it was so nice. Like I did laundry, I cleaned, we like went for a hike. And so that's been really fun. I got to take my dad to a Rams game, which was so much fun. He's a Rams fan and hasn't seen the Rams play since they were like in Anaheim, which is wild because that was like in the 90s, I think.
That is crazy.
And so it's been this whole time since he's gone to a football game or seen the Rams. So he also hadn't been to SoFi ever. So what an incredible way to show him around SoFi than going with Toyota.
SoFi also is just the most beautiful stadium. I was talking to someone who like has like a job in football and they've been to like all the stadiums you can imagine. Yeah. And I asked which one was like they're like the nicest or their favorite, and they said SoFi. Yeah. So it's not just like the experience of it. The first time I ever went with Toyota to a game, when you walk out on that field, you literally feel it's like the most epic feeling ever.
So cool.
It's huge. It's beautiful. Like the lighting, the sounds, the smells. Like it's just so epic. So I bet he was just like blown away.
He was living. I just told Taryn this, but I'll tell you guys as well. He had no idea that I was taking him. So the whole thing was a surprise. And then when I told him we were going, I didn't elaborate. So I think he just thought we had tickets to a football game. We show up. They're not only tickets, they're VIP tickets. We get to go to the suite. They're not only suite tickets. We have seats like 7 rows away from the field. And then not just that, but they surprised him with a custom jersey. We had field passes. So we got to go down to the field. He was like a child. I kid you not. He was just living his best life. The entire team was obsessed with him. And they were just like, do it for dad. Like, let's go, like take him around. And it was so cute. He made friends everywhere. And we had the absolute best time. So that was fun. And I'm like fully prepping. There's like holidays are here around the corner. I'm starting to make Christmas lists, which sounds crazy, but like wild. It's not. It's like that's where my head's at. And I've just been vlogging constantly since the move. So if you guys, want to maybe
plug it,
go
Ash.
Follow
Ash. Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest.
Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm putting a lot of work and effort into it, and it's been fun. I've been like vlogging. I've been vlogging everything. It's been ridiculous. Yeah. So we're having a blast over there. So head over to the YouTube channel. Follow me there for all the fun, moving life content.
Love that.
How about you, Taryn? What's been new? With normal life things, not scary things.
Normal life things. I feel like life has been good. I feel like it's been really fun. Like, now that like holidays are coming and my niece and nephew are older. So it's been like so fun, like getting to experience that where they can actually like talk and like, like even talking about like Halloween, like they were so excited. My brother and sister-in-law like went all out decorating and it just was like
they're at
so
an
cute.
age now where it's like they might remember this.
Oh, fully.
Well, specifically Axel, but
Axel, yeah. So like that's been fun. Family stuff is just like so fun because they're just like so much fun.
Yeah. He's at a fun age.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's like anything else that's new. I'm not ready to like fully talk about it, but I'm dating someone.
I was gonna say, we know you're dating. You need to
someone
exclusively dating someone.
Yeah. I'm not ready to like fully disclose all the things, which is, feels very foreign to me, but I also am trying to just be like I don't know. I just like want to make sure before.
It only took her how many times?
Which, I don't regret. I think one of the things I love about myself is I am just so willing to like put everything out there. But I think with this, because I actually see like this going somewhere. And so I'm just more like, I want to like, just like take my time with it and make sure like he's cool with it and all that stuff. But I will say it has been a very like healing experience for me because
to be treated right and to be respected and treated like a princess.
You know,
not even that. Like, I feel like that just like is such an over exaggerated statement, but to just be like treated right.
Yeah, it's funny because like
it's nice.
the things I'll like gush about him and like what he says and does, like all my friends are like very like, that's so cute and it's so happy. But like you and Vanessa have both said to me, but what's sad is like, this is what you should be getting. And I'm like, yeah, it is wild. But I just have a very unlucky history of, I just had a moment where I'm like, look at us talking about like our lives.
What?
Us just talking about our lives and like past relationships and not like demons and ghosts. And I just had a moment where I was like,
it's refreshing for sure.
Yeah. I have a very unlucky past with guys that it's a lot of anxiety surrounding it, a lot of me trying to prove my worth and I'm in hyperdrive of trying to convince that person that they should be with me and that I'm enough and trying so hard to like hang on and like hold on to something. And even like I've only been in like one serious relationship, but even the way it started, it was like he was just ending something with someone. So it was like more on the DL. And then it was like, everything started in such a weird way. And then every guy since then, I feel like it's always been complicated. Like, not that like I've had some like great guys that I was like obsessed with and like really into, but it always was surrounded by anxiety and like stress and like me having to fish for compliments or me having to fish for any type of sign that like they're in it as much as I'm in it. And like with this one, I don't know. I'm like, I need to give him a nickname, but I don't know yet. It's just been so easy. And like
the gentleman,
the man.
We can come up with an actual nickname later, but for now, let's call him the gentleman.
Yeah. Ooh, we should call him the Duke because the other day we went Duke. And got dinner and we both ordered a drink called the Duke and it was so good. Okay. The Duke. No, I'm just kidding. Well, we're gonna brainstorm that one, but it's just been so refreshing because like right from the start, he just has been so upfront with like how he feels and like I genuinely like feel like we're both just like obsessed with each other and like I don't know, like the other day he just was like he told me like you're so beautiful. I literally could stare at you all day. And I was so like almost like uncomfortable because I was just like, and then that made me like so sad because I'm like, why haven't I had like why is that foreign to me to have like this guy just like look at me and like tell me, you know what I mean? It's so sad, but it's also made this like so wonderful.
I think what's happened, and this has happened to so many women and in a lot of different ways, but I think what's happened is every guy that like, honestly, with the first guy that you like actually had like a little fling with to present, they've all been kind of
yeah.
And that has nothing to do with you, but I think you have only known. So because of that, your bar was set very low. Like extremely low. And what's frustrating as a friend is sitting back and watching you put up with all this stuff that if I told you I was dating someone doing that, the way you would have been like, no, you would have like pulled me aside and been like, this is not you, that you deserve this. And here's what, blah, blah, blah. Like you would have said, you would have made me break. You would have texted him, it's over from my phone and been like, it's over. It's late. It's too late. Like it's done. You know, like you would have been so upset with me for putting up with that. But and again, I don't mean this in a rude way. We've all been there. Like when you're in it, when you're in it, you're just like, no, like you have this whole vision of like what you think he's like and what you can see him turning into or changing into and what your future could look like. And you can't let go of that.
Yeah.
But you need to, because the reality is he's
well, yeah. And it's that toxic, like almost like abuse cycle that you like get into where you like go after the same type of thing because it feels familiar.
It's comfortable.
And Yeah, it's just so wild to me. And I think what's so hard is like all of the guys that I've had something with, like on paper are great and like just have their own stuff they're like dealing with, but also like they always come back. Like they're always still like in my DMs or like hitting up or like whatever. So it's like
Michaela bleeping every time I say it.
I know. So it's like one of those things where it's like you mentally you're like, oh, okay, but like, so like they still like me. So like, how do I, it's like I was constantly in this cycle that my last relationship, it was very much like where I'm trying to be what somebody else, like what I think somebody else wants. And all that ends up happening is I lose my identity. I also like it never ends up working because I think even for like the guys, like I don't even know who I am. So they're probably trying to like fish that out too.
Also to a degree, it's like there at some point your true self is going to come through. And if your true self in them is not a click, then they're going to be like, that's not who I thought you were. You know, it's almost not even fair. Not like we're feeling bad for them because we're not, but like it's almost not even fair to them because you walked into this saying, hey, who do you want me to be? What do you want me to wear? Like, how do you want me to act? What do you think's funny? I'll start talking that way, you know, and like fully morphing into be someone that this person likes. And so to a degree, they're like, oh, maybe I like her. Because you've changed for them to be like what you think they like. And then they're just like, wait, I can't tell what's going on here. Again, I am not defending them. I'm just saying it becomes a very like, who am I? Who are you? What's going on?
Anxious attachment. And it never fails because I always go in being so like strong and like who I am. And then it's like after a few hits of like getting that vibe that like they're wanting something different or they, you know, like ghost me for a while or they say like some crappy comment, then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, and then I go into panic mode to
spiral,
like keep it. So it's just like so crazy because with this situation I'm in right now, I feel like I'm like fully myself and I feel like he like loves every bit of it. Not loves, oh my God, not throwing the L word out. But also like, it's so weird feeling like so secure too. Like the other day he was like busy and didn't text me till later in the day when like, I'm telling you, this man sends me a good morning text every single morning, like since I've been talking to him and I like love it. But I like before, because I was with these men that again made me feel so anxious of like, how do I keep it together? Like I felt like it would fall apart at any second. But with him, I'm like so just like sat and like secure and like I like there wasn't one time where I was like, oh my God, like why isn't he texting me? Is he over me? Like what's he doing? It was more like, dang, I hope he didn't sleep through his alarm. I hope he like made it to work. Like it's just so wild, the shift of like
what a healthy relationship
just
looks
enjoying like every minute of it and like date nights and like sitting on the couch doing nothing. Like I don't know. He's like great.
I love that.
It's wild. I can't wait to like dive deeper into like our personalities and stuff. As of now, that's all I'm going to share.
We love that for you.
I'm happy.
The message today is if he wanted to, he would. And it sounds like he wants to. And he is.
Yeah. I think, yeah, just focusing on yourself. And it's wild how fast you go into old patterns and don't even recognize it. Yeah. And
or no even matter like how much coming up with reasons to like text him or see him. And I'm over here like, I'll buy you the heating pad. We don't need it. Don't text him.
Easter egg. Yeah, but it's just so crazy. Like it just shows too, because like you get so wrapped, and when you are having to like fight tooth and nail to keep something in your life, I think like taking a second to just like let it go and just like sit back and wait, because it's wild how fast like when I finally like let go and like literally just like released trying to control everything. One, perspective immediately changed. Two, like God like brought something like and laid it right on my lap. And I think like it was just so crazy how fast that happened. And I feel like it just really taught me like, okay, like, yeah, you've done all this therapy, you've done all this work on self-love, but like you still have to like pay attention to like
it doesn't mean you're
old
done.
patterns coming up, and like, what are you going to do to make sure like you don't fall into that again? So it's been like a major learning experience. Like I said, like very healing. And I like told him that the other day we went on a date, and I was like, it's so weird because I feel like this is like the first time I've ever dated, like, because it feels like this is how it's supposed to feel, you know, like, I don't know. It's cute. And I like spill on myself. The other day I tried to be all cute and like go up over the table to like kiss him, and I shot the booth back, and like it was like in this like big nice restaurant. So it's like certain things, and he just like laughs and like thinks I'm adorable, and I just love it. Cute. It's been really fun.
I love this. I love love.
Hey, calm down. Calm down, Ash.
I love love.
We love heavy liking.
We love heavy liking.
We love a heavy like.
We love a heavy like. Today's episode is brought to you by JLo Beauty. Okay, guys, I have to come clean about something. You guys know I am obsessed with skincare, and I'm obsessed with my skincare routine. I have to admit something that I'm super embarrassed about. My routine is a little ridiculous. It was a little unrealistic. I felt like it took me over an hour, morning and night, to do my skincare routine, which is just so unrealistic. Like, no one has time for a 13-step beauty routine, right? But guys, your skincare routine doesn't have to be that complicated. Thanks to JLo Beauty. You can get that JLo glow with JLo Beauty's Deluxe Kit, the one and done skincare solution clinically proven to boost your skin's radiance and luminosity for an immediate and lasting glow. The secret is JLo Beauty's 5-step routine featuring 5 multitasking formulas designed to cleanse, refresh, and prep your skin to take on the day. That JLo Deluxe Kit is an easy to follow AM/PM solution that gives your skin a smoother, visibly brighter look, improves the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, and protects against UVAs and UVBs. I am absolutely obsessed with the Blockbuster Hydrating Cream. My skin is so much more plump and dewy, and I see why 100% of the people from an 8-week clinical study who tried it had smoother skin. Like, it's obvious. Also, I just loved the container that it's in. It's so beautiful and radiant, and honestly looks so good sitting on my counter. JLo Beauty products look and feel luxurious with ingredients and packaging that you would expect from the most premium skincare products. Get more glow for less with your skincare routine. Try that JLo Beauty Deluxe Kit for 60 days. And guess what? If you're not completely satisfied, just return the bottles, even if they're empty, and you'll get your money back. And we love a brand that stands by their products. Get the only skincare routine you'll ever need. Head to jlobeauty.com/unsolicited to receive 20% off plus 3 free gifts, including 2 quality face masks and 1 hydrating Beso Balm. Head to jlobeauty.com/unsolicited for 20% off and 3 free gifts of a $175 value. That's jlobeauty.com/unsolicited. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. It's time for a tearing it up, a normal one.
Not a scaring it up.
And I'm not going to say the title. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Hello. I'd like to remain anonymous. I have a tearing it up for you today. I was sitting on the couch and totally forgot this happened. And my first thought was, I have to tell Ashley and Taryn. Before I get into the story, for context, it is important to know that my career/education is focused on working with children. So I am browsing job opportunities online and come across this job working at a school that I think would be just perfect for me. I have experience working with youth and leading summer camps, and this caretaker job requires you to work with children over the summer. Now, I did find it odd that the description didn't explain the ages that I would be working with or anything about the role, but I applied anyway. Sure enough, I got a phone interview and I was so excited. On the phone, they asked me typical questions like when can I start, why I want the job, etc. I talked about how I love working with kids and on and on and on, and also asked the woman on the phone what ages I would be working with. And she seemed confused and couldn't answer my question. Again, I found it odd, but it seemed like she would check in with someone and let me know. After we got off the phone, I told my mom about this potential job as a caretaker at the school. My mother, who is a teacher at a school, said, "A caretaker is another word for janitor at school?" I was shocked.
Wait, where are they from? Is that a thing?
She didn't say, and I'm assuming it's another country.
Because caretaker, I would think is like, well, honestly, caretaker to
elderly.
me, I think elderly.
Yes.
Yeah.
But apparently where they're from, caretaker means janitor.
I'm telling you one thing right now. I have so much respect for janitors.
Yes.
I could never.
It is hard. It's hard, especially with kids. Growing up in high school, we had a janitor that we all loved. Like we gave him like awards. Like we would always like, he was like the cutest little old man. But I know it must be hard with kids. She writes, no wonder the woman on the phone was confused by me asking what ages I'll be working with as a janitor. She was probably judging me hardcore. Needless to say, neither of us contacted the other again, and I never ended up working there. As a side note, this is in no way diminishing the work that janitors do.
No, absolutely not.
I could not do what they do, and the work that they do is so necessary and so important. This is just a funny story that I had to share. Love you both, Anonymous.
That's so crazy.
Have you ever applied for the wrong job before? I don't think I have.
I don't think so, but I do think, I think I've told the story before. I think my worst like interview experience was I was trying to just get like a really quick job for just a little bit of time. And so I applied at like Chili's because I was like, I have waitress experience. Like I have like this great resume. So I was like, I'm overqualified. Like I'm just gonna, and I go in and they straight up made me take like a math test. And then the interview was so intense. And then afterwards they told me I wasn't Chili's material. And I've never been more like embarrassed in my life.
Chili's math test?
They literally said, you aren't, I'm so sorry, you're not Chili's material. I was like, how dare you? First of all,
what is Chili's material?
I don't know, but I've chosen to interpret that as I was overqualified.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
totally.
They're like, this girl's not going to stay with us for long.
I mean, yeah. I went with a friend once. She was applying for this job, and she wanted me to come with her because she was like nervous. So I came, and when we walked in, it was like one of those, like everyone walking in, like grabbed an application, went and sat down and filled it out. And the guy like handed me one. And I was like, oh, I was just going to sit with her. I like drove her.
Oh yeah.
So like I was going to sit with her and mind my own business, but then he handed me an application and I was just sitting there. So I was like, well, I'm just going to fill it out. Like literally it was a joke. I was working, I had a job. I was teaching music on the side and I was working at Hollister already. I didn't need another job. Like I was like, this is ridiculous. But I fill it out anyways. And the most embarrassing thing, I spelled my name wrong. And it was one of those like scan box ones. And I was just like, damn it. Like, do I go and ask for another one? Is he going to ask me why? Like, what's going to happen? And so then I was like, well, she was taking forever. She had a lot of paperwork to fill out. So I was just like, I'm just going to do it. So I went and I was like, excuse me, can I have another one? And the guy there was like, what do you need another one for? And I was like, I messed up. And he was like, can you just scratch it out? And I was like, it's pen. And he was like, oh. And he was like, well, what'd you mess up? And I was like,
okay. I would have been like, too many questions.
I know. I was like,
is this the interview? Dear Lord.
I was like,
dear Lord.
I spelled my name wrong. And he was like, can you scratch it out? Like if it's pen, just scratch it out. And I was like, no, because then you're going to be like, this idiot can't even spell her name right. And then he laughed really hard and gave me another one. And I got the job.
Nice.
My friend didn't.
You savage little minx.
Turns out the guy was the general manager. And I think I was funny enough that I made an impression. And I was just like, that's hilarious.
How did your friendship?
She was like, I didn't bring it up. She mentioned she didn't get the job. And I was like, I have something to tell you. And I ended up quitting my other jobs and working there.
Oof. Oof.
I can't help it. I'm charming.
Savage mode activated.
Or life hack.
I mean, that's a very risky, like.
It is a risky.
You could
depends
look
on
an
the job.
idiot,
Depends
or
on the
you
job.
could look endearing.
Definitely for a first time job is kind of endearing. Anyways, that's the tearing it up. If you have any funny accidental application job things, send them in.
What have we talked about? That's so specific.
But like if they have it.
But like a broader, if you have any funny like interview or job.
Okay. What she said.
If you have ever spelled your name wrong on an application.
Relax.
We know the end. All right. Should we get into the first story?
We shall.
I actually wrote this.
Oh, yeah?
My best friend is hiding how she actually feels about my boyfriend.
Well,
I have
no,
something to
haven't
tell
met him.
you. No, I'm saying like me. Imagine. Actually, though, I think this will be really good because honestly, it would be very similar to our situation. So you could say how you would feel, and then I'm more like I'm just gonna give advice like in a non-biased way because I don't feel this way about Jackson, but you'll see there's a lot of similarities. So I'm curious what you're gonna say. Hi, ladies. I'm a longtime listener of the podcast, and I'm a huge fan of both of you as people.
Thank you.
I really feel like I'm FaceTiming with a friend when watching Ashley's YouTube videos or Taryn's TikToks. I would keep gushing, but this one's a long one. For some background, I'm 23 years old. My Enneagram is a 9 wing 1.
Me.
Hey, Ash.
It's me.
And I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years.
Oh my God.
Again,
me.
Shout out Ash. We're from the Midwest, which means basically all of our friends our age are married.
Yeah.
We're in no rush to do so, as we understand that we're young and weddings are expensive. We both, however, plan to spend the rest of our lives together. I got into the dating scene later than most people. The fact that you're 23, I'm a little bit offended. Not me over a decade older than you.
Just saying you have your first relationship
Just met someone. Yeah. Okay, I hate my life. I got into the dating scene later than most people. I saw it go south for all of my friends and never felt like wasting my energy on someone who was almost definitely going to break my heart at such a young age. I had dating apps for a while, but never felt connected to anyone. All this to say, my current boyfriend was my first date. I often joke with him that he wasn't supposed to be so quote unquote perfect. First boyfriends are supposed to be messed up, and based off that alone, it shouldn't have worked out so well for us. I understand it sounds wild, but honestly, we just click. I can't imagine going through life without him, and he feels like home.
That's adorable.
Beautiful. We rented a place together last year, and it was the smoothest process ever. Best roommate I've ever had. I also recently closed on a house. We've talked a lot about us both using first-time home buyers' advantages separately and becoming landlords in the future, and this is a good step towards that. He helps with bills, and this house is our home. Here's the problem. I recently found out that my best friend, let's call her Anna, has been talking about my boyfriend behind my back.
Absolutely not.
My boyfriend's
best friend? Question mark?
Yeah. Okay. I just really feel like we need to normalize something. Everyone talks crap on everyone. It's a normal thing. Mm-hmm. The difference is, are you just going to anyone and you're having this session where you're all just like sharing how much you hate this person or how lame this person is? Or are you going to a safe person who knows and loves both of you and you're using it for actual, like, I need to get this off of my chest, knowing that that person's going to help you feel validated or offer up like a solution, right? Like, I think it's unrealistic to think that people don't talk about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Talking about someone doesn't mean they're talking about you.
Exactly. And a big thing there too is if it is your best friend, they should be very aware of the issues that you're probably going and talking about. Mm-hmm. Like I can't imagine me having this massive issue with Jackson and talking all this crap about him and how he's so terrible and whatever, but I've never raised even like a slight concern with you to your face. Mm-hmm. Because obviously I don't care about you.
Right, yeah.
So it's just one of those things. And I'm very aware. I know I've probably done some annoying things where you've talked about me to people. I've done the same to you. Again, it's not in like a crazy way.
Yeah.
But I think when we get so wrapped on like, you were talking about me behind my back, but it's like, well, what kind of talking was it?
Yeah.
Because I know that I can annoy the hell out of you. And I know that there's been times in our friendship where we've been clashing. Mm-hmm. It would be stupid to think you just go in your room and just think about it. Mm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we all do. We all need to like voice things out and to like vent and whatever. But it should never be something where like you haven't at least given that person the respect of like talking to them to their face. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My boyfriend's best friend, this gets a little confusing, but it'll make sense. My boyfriend's best friend, we'll call him Jack, is married to one of my close friends. We'll call her Diane.
Okay.
They're the ones that set us up. Jack told my boyfriend that Anna had spent a 30-minute car ride with Diane talking about how my boyfriend doesn't help with stuff around the house enough, that me mowing our yard, and she puts in parentheses, something I sent her videos of me doing because I was excited to do it for the first time.
Yeah.
Was a quote unquote boy's job and I shouldn't have been doing it.
Okay, well, clear. She has a problem. There's something wrong with her. That's so dumb.
I'm like, the fact, like, how many times have you like been so excited to tell me about like mowing your yard? Imagine if I would have been like, Jackson didn't come over and help.
It's fun. It's fun. It's a household chore, and I would expect Jackson to do the dishes and laundry sometimes. Like,
yeah, but again, there's a difference. If you send me a video and are like, look, I'm mowing the lawn, why would my first assumption go to that? Now, if you sent me a video and you're like, oh my God, I'm so tired, and like I get home and Jackson's like, go mow the yard, then I'd have a problem with it. But like, this is weird.
Yeah.
She also said that my boyfriend didn't help with our move at all and let me do it all by myself. At that point, Diana cut in saying that my boyfriend moved all our furniture, and if anything, my boyfriend should be upset that I didn't help more. And then she puts in parentheses, my boyfriend told me he disagreed with this and communicated to Diana saying, hey, we split the responsibilities even. But again, I'm like, why is everyone having an opinion on something they're not involved in?
Yeah.
Anna basically implied that he wasn't good enough for me. Oh, this was all also said to Diana's mom and family separately when Anna was spending time with them.
Lovely.
Here's
so
the thing.
Everyone has these thoughts. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like Anna's
thoughts.
Her
thoughts.
Here's the thing. I can't figure out where she's getting this from. The things she seems to have an opinion on are part of our relationship that I don't think I've even ever talked about with Anna. I did tell her I was stressed about moving, but it was something my boyfriend and I were working on together. I'm also a major procrastinator, so while I was sitting too overwhelmed to start doing anything, he came through and organized everything so we can make progress together, splitting up who's in charge of which corner. Again, I'm like, girl, you don't even have to explain what your process is. It's not anyone's business, not even ours.
Exactly.
We also split household chores between us. Again, I'm not even going to read your arrangement because it's yours. I'm not sure Anna has even asked about that or knows about that. I guess I just feel hurt because I don't understand where this is coming from. My friend has had 3 years to say something to me about my boyfriend, and I can't understand why she instead has felt the need to just go and gossip about it with other people.
Honestly.
I called my parents and asked them if they had a problem with my boyfriend after I heard about this because I was confused. They told me not at all and were like, why? When I explained it, they said a couple of things. One, they think we split up chores evenly. And even if we didn't, it's a system that you're both happy with. So that's good enough. Two, is it possible that Anna is saying these things because she's not with anyone and feels the need to nitpick people's relationships because of it?
Ding, ding, ding.
Anna doesn't have the best track record with dating.
There it is.
3,
let's gossip about that.
Yeah, literally. 3, they mentioned how happy and glowing I am when I'm with him and how he seems to make me more me. That's the most beautiful statement I've ever heard. I mostly just don't know how to bring this up with Anna. Jack and Diane are not people to gossip and they don't want their names brought up at all. Jack just felt like my boyfriend should know because we were going to hang out with Anna that night. She was saying all of this. I don't want to out them for saying anything, and it feels weird to ask Anna how she feels about my boyfriend 3 years into the relationship.
Right.
I always assumed she would speak at my wedding one day, and I thought we were friends to the point where we shared our opinions. I'm confused and feel weird texting her, like she's secretly judging me, or worse, feels pity for me because she doesn't think my relationship is good. This was something my boyfriend wasn't even going to tell me because he didn't want me to stress, but I'm ultimately glad I know and he's not carrying this burden himself.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if this was long. There's so many more small details I could add, but those are the main points. How do I have this conversation with my best friend?
Honestly, I wanted to like stand and applaud your parents because that's exactly what I was thinking. I think miserable people love to drag people down with them. And it sounds like you have a friend in your life who's currently very unhappy and is upset that you are happy and can't stand to watch you be happy and her be unhappy. So she's causing drama. And I think people like that are very sad. They're very sad people.
Sad.
To not want to, someone who can't be happy for someone else is not a safe person, in my opinion. I think there's something much deeper wrong with them that they need to sort through and figure out. Probably requires therapy. It's going to require a lot of time because it sounds like there's something in them that's just like not quite working right.
Yeah.
For them to be so upset seeing a friend do
Absolutely.
well or be happy. And we're not even, what's crazy is we're not talking about, you know, you won the lottery and you changed and you up and moved and like got this whole new life. I could see like being a little bit more like bitter about that. You simply are just living life. You simply have a boyfriend who loves you and who you love. That's the most like, that's what we want for everybody, right?
Well, and like I literally feel like I've said this like 50,000 times on the podcast, but it is possible to be in both places.
Yeah.
It is possible that you have something that I want and I'm so incredibly happy for you, but it also triggers slight depression in me.
Yeah.
Those can both exist.
It's okay to be sad.
But they have to be separate. It has to be where I can fully 1000% be so happy and celebrate you. Mm-hmm. And then I can also go home and cry and probably still come to you and be like, oh, like I want that. You know what I mean? And there's a difference between like, I'm mad at you because you have something I want. Like that's wild to
I'm
me.
not going to maliciously go gossip about you to all of our friends and family.
No.
And about your boyfriend who seems like a total gem.
Yeah.
So like why I'm not going to do that because I don't have that like that deep darkness in my heart where I want to go hurt and cause, you know, drama because of it. And I think that's something to look out for because I think that's not a safe person.
Yeah. What's really interesting is, and I don't know if you noticed this, Anonymous, but I'm very curious if this has been something that's been there all along, or if her current circumstance coupled with you had a very massive win just happen in your life. Yes. You just moved in with him. Then you bought a house. Like those are big life accomplishment things. Mm-hmm. So I'm really curious if just that alone was enough to trigger something in her that her jealousy is now spilling out. So, but I will say, I don't think it's fair for Jack and Diane or Diana to ask you not to say anything. If I were you, I think there's a way that you can kind of protect both and maybe just vaguely mention to her like, hey, it came up the other day that like, I don't know details, but they just mentioned that you kind of had made it seem like you maybe like were having some reservations about like me and my relationship. They didn't want to like tell me more than that, but like I would love to just sit with you and talk about that because if you have something that you feel towards like about me and my person, I would love if we can like talk about it because I care about you and your opinion. And I mean, it also kind of like bummed me out to know that like you felt like you couldn't come talk to me about that first.
Yeah. Also, I think you could even be a little more on the nose with it. I see nothing wrong. Obviously, you can let your friends know and make sure they're cool with it too. But I see nothing wrong with being like, hey, it's come to my attention that you have been talking a lot about my boyfriend, specifically like not liking things that he's doing. You want to clue me in on how you're feeling and you don't need to name names. And if she asks, no one needs to know. Like, I mean, and if she goes like prying, like, did you tell? Like, that's also like very immature. Like I'm just like clear. It's been said. It's gotten back to me that you don't like my boyfriend. Yeah, I would love to know why you haven't told me this and why you're telling everyone else this.
You are right because they're besties.
Yeah, if her first response is, "Who told you that?" That's not a safe person. That's not a safe friend because this isn't about her.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with who told what. This has everything to do with you're talking about my person behind my back and we're supposed to be best friends.
Yeah.
You haven't mentioned this once. Like that's very sus behavior.
I think it just depends like what message you really want to get out and also like what type of person she is. You know what I mean? Because like if that's you, if I came at you like that, you wouldn't do well. But I also think like it would depend what I was wanting to get done. If I was really like, dang, my feelings are hurt that like Ashley doesn't like this guy I'm talking with, then I'd probably come more gentle. Or if I was pissed because I'm like, why would you talk about me behind my back? Like just say it to my face.
Well, that's kind of how I feel is I'm like, do I deserve to be comfortable in this conversation if I'm going around talking shit? Like it's not like I'm going around talking about ways to fix something or ways to bring this up with you. I'm allowed to talk about you. I'm allowed to talk about your boyfriend. It sounds like more like talking is what it sounds like is actually happening.
Well, and kind of fabricating stuff like her saying certain things like that you're like, I haven't even talked to her about that. So I don't know why she thinks.
Yeah, that's in my opinion, it's fine to come out at that a little bit stronger. Just like, hey, what's going on?
Making the point of like, why are you talking about our chores? Like, if you really had a concern, why wouldn't you ask me like, hey, like, how's stuff split up? But that's why I think she's not in a good place. I cannot imagine ever being over at your place, you and Jackson, and being like, why is Ashley washing a dish?
That's what's
it's weird.
It's weird because to be blunt, like it's none of her business.
No.
Unless that's something I brought to you, like Taryn mentioned earlier. If I brought a concern that I had of
then
Jackson,
it's free reign.
Of Jackson not picking up his it's bothering me, then I brought that to her. That's a different story. But for you to insert yourself in someone else's chore routine in their life,
I would have to literally be sitting on the couch and
every day.
Jackson was like, Ashley, I said I wanted this.
Yeah, it would have to be so obscene.
My dish is dirty. Pick it up. Like it would have to be something wild for me to actually be like,
that's not okay.
First of all, I'd be like, you want to try that again? I'd probably say something to him.
Yeah.
Then we would be talking immediately. If I'm your best friend, I'm concerned about your relationship. You're the first person I'm talking to about it.
Yeah.
So something's going on with Anna.
Something's very going on.
So
with
I think you need to like, hopefully that brings some comfort to know like, okay, this isn't really about me. This is her in an unhealthy place.
Yeah.
So then you as her friend, you knowing all the details in the story, you knowing her, it's just, is your approach going to be like, hey, like I'm going to go in being like, dude, what's going on? Like, this doesn't feel like you, this, like, I've been with him 3 years. This is the first I'm hearing about you having a problem. Like, can we talk about like what's going on? So I think it just depends like which way you want to go. And you have every right to approach it in any way that the situation makes you feel. But as we always say, sometimes I think communication requires or can be looked at strategically. So think about your end goal, think about what you want to get out, and then I would just attack it in that way.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Woof, man.
Sounds like she's in a very unhealthy place right now and she's taking it out on you.
I can't imagine like just now bringing up something unless something crazy happens.
I mean, that first year is your window. Honestly, the first like 8 months, 6 to 8 months, like that's your window to say something if you don't like a person, because it's just going to get more and more complicated from there.
Yeah. Weird.
That's what makes me think he's fine. She's the problem.
Yeah. No, yeah. This is a personal thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for writing in. Let's go ahead and get started with my email today. This one is titled Opposites Attract ... Or maybe they don't.
Ooh.
Let's find out. Hi, ladies. My name is Gracie, and you can say my name. Hi, Gracie.
Hi, Gracie.
I am a 21-year-old from Iowa. I stumbled upon your podcast one fateful day, and I have been in love ever since. Your totally solicited advice has followed me through both high school and undergrad, now into my life as an adult.
I love that.
Wow. You know what? We're just here to support you.
We truly are your big sisters.
Yep. We're just here to walk through life with you. I love to listen at work when I'm completing boring paperwork while going on walks in my neighborhood and in the car. So basically, I'm saying that your beautiful voices are constantly flowing in my ears and making my life a little bit better.
Beautiful voices.
Taryn specifically.
Oh, yes.
If you're hearing this, I unfortunately cannot hook you up with Justin Herbert, but trust me, I would marry that tall drink of water in a heartbeat too. And I'm a lesbian, so there's that. Anyway, I have attached a photo at the end of my kitten, Herbert.
I'm dead. Yeah. So she's like a big fan, or is that accidental?
It sounds like it. She says, I have been a Chargers fan my whole life, which is so rare in Iowa. LOL. So clearly I had to name my orange baby after the leading man of the LA Chargers. Hopefully that counts for something.
I'm dead.
And then I'm going to show you a photo of the cat since we're talking about it.
Cute.
Yeah. It's got his arm stretched. It's so cute. Anyway, I'm writing in because I'm at a loss in my current relationship. For background, my girlfriend and I have been together for over a year now. Our story was a messy one at first, involving us losing the mutual friend who brought us together and working through long distance. But now we couldn't be happier. I recently moved to be in the same city as her. We have plans to move in with each other next year and have discussed marriage and many other big, important topics. Long story short, this woman is the love of my life. I truly believe that she is the one, and I am prepared to work to make that happen. And now, this brings us to the but. I am an organized, responsible, and punctual person who prefers a clean space and hates to put off tasks until the last minute.
Why do you have that stupid smirk on your face, Ashley?
No, I thought it was funny because of the last story. Like, it's kind of like, this has nothing to do with you, Taryn.
Is it? Let me guess. She's unorganized, always late. Is she?
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Let me get through the email,
read that
Taryn.
smirk.
Let me get through the email. I love reading, video games, and other one-person activities, she adds. I like to think of myself as an optimist and am relatively introverted, although not shy. As for my Enneagram, I used to believe I was firmly a 7, but as I get older, I definitely feel more akin to a 9.
Shocking.
Now that I am working full-time in my field and attending graduate school in the evenings, I am on a pretty strict schedule. Usually this means I am up by 7 and I go to bed at 11. My girlfriend, however, is the exact opposite. She puts in all caps.
Enter
of that.
Taryn.
She has ADHD, always loses things, such as her keys, phone, computer, and medications, is chronically late, and she puts off tasks until the last possible second or doesn't do them at all. Her room gets very messy very fast because she often tries several outfits on before deciding on one. Well, we can't help that sometimes. Can't help that sometimes. And then she doesn't put the rejected clothes back. Her car is also a crazy mess, which is less of an issue, but the principle still gets to me. Getting ready is always a nightmare because she runs around frustrated like her head's on fire, while I try to support her in whatever way possible and patiently wait. She often prefers to be around people and do activities that involve direct conversation. My girlfriend is also a student in her last year of undergrad and works part-time as a nursing assistant in the area hospital. Usually her shifts are at night, when I've already gotten home for the day. Clearly, there are many aspects of us as individuals that don't match up. I like to think we are generally very good at communicating through conflicts. We've found effective compromises when it comes to shared activities, the differences in our social batteries, and even our conflicting schedules. But with this one, we seem to be at a loss. How can a chronic procrastinator and someone as uptight and rigid as me work out? I love her more than I had even believed possible, but I don't want to move in with her unless she gets her messy habits under control and can at least maintain some semblance of order in a shared space. I also cannot stand how she procrastinates, makes us late, causes tension, or causes her grades to slip, which all of this stresses her and me out. She hates the way she's a procrastinator and often makes self-deprecating remarks about how she's basically a toddler with no attention span and couldn't keep a room clean if she tried. But despite her feelings, it doesn't seem like she's attempting to work on her habits. I have tried to offer support in many ways, but it often just leaves me feeling like attempts are futile. We've had arguments about this type of stuff before whenever something stemming from our inherent differences pops up, but sometimes I don't know how to tell her how I feel without making it seem like I'm suggesting that we're not compatible. In my brain, it's a twofold problem. I want her to be happy and have habits that can help her be successful so that she can stop beating herself up. But I also want to love every part of her without judgment because that's what she deserves. How can I be more tolerant of her habits and tendencies? How can we find a way to work through our differences? I would really appreciate any advice you have to offer. Don't be afraid to be brutal. For your reference, I have also attached a couple photos of us. I'm the one in yellow and red stripes. Thank you, ladies, so much in advance. And even if this doesn't make it to the pod, it definitely helps to sort out my tangled mess that's in my brain. And here is a photo of them.
Oh my gosh, cute.
Looks like it's like game day or something.
Yeah.
I'm trying to read the stickers on her face. Yeah, definitely like a spirit week or game day or something like that. Okay.
Wow, I feel like you're super qualified for this more with your relationship with Alicia than me, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because
what was that? I don't know what that came from.
I don't know either. Deep in your soul. Deep from years of trauma.
Yes.
Because I can relate to more the like, I have a very like nonchalantness and I can be late or I can procrastinate. But I'm very, very aware of how my stuff affects other people. And I'm very driven by that because I'm a 2. So when it comes to me living with people, like my stuff is never out. Like if I do have a mess, it's very consolidated in my own space. And my car's been clean for years now. Ash can attest. She saw that switch happen. Mm-hmm. But I think like, I don't know if this is like the older I get or the more I just become aware of how people are so different. I think it has to be like something that you guys come up with together. And I think you do have a right to express what you need, just as she has a right to express what she needs. And I think what I've learned from like those type of personalities, the like type A, like they need stuff to be a certain way, there's a very fine line of like, hey, like, you're affecting me and I think you should live your life differently. So I feel like that's where you have to find like a way where you guys can come together. And that can be so stinking individual. Like maybe you have a 2-bedroom and one of the bedroom, like that's where her stuff is and she can create her own tornado getting ready there. Like it can be super specific to like what makes it work with you guys.
Yeah.
But I think where you need to figure out where your line is you can't tell her your way is better than hers, but you can tell her what specific things affect you and find somewhere that's like a compromise.
Wow, Taryn, you nailed that. That's
thanks,
literally
Ash.
what I was going to say.
Thank you.
I completely agree. I think something that I've always joked about / struggled with and have been very open about is me and my sister are extremely different when it comes to stuff like that. Mm-hmm. What's interesting is about like 4 or 5 years ago, we learned that we both have ADHD and OCD and they present in very opposite ways.
Yep.
And my sister, very stereotypical ADHD, is stereotypically a mess, late, just like a constant mess in life and a constant mess around them. Like they just can't get organized and they can't like not be a mess. Like it's just like how theirs presents. But what's interesting is like others can present in like, I need this to look this way and my way is right. And
yeah.
The hard thing that I had to learn to do that Alicia, if she were here, would tell you is the way I would tell her that she needed to clean stuff up for whatever reason rubbed her the wrong way, probably because I made it seem like it was the right and only way to do it.
Yeah.
So that's something I had to learn as I like my things done a certain way type of person. I think I preach like, here's what you need to do. Here's how you need to do it. It's my way or the highway. Instead of being like, hey, I can't unsee the sink.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be very honest, they're not my dishes.
Yeah.
So at some point today, whenever you have a chance today, I need you to deal with that, you know, I can't look at it anymore. And something that really clicked with Alicia and I was I would wait until the last minute until I was bubbling over to say something when I should have just said it in the beginning and
which
in a chiller way.
She could
feel the tension because I was literally
like, oh
like,
my God, chill. When you're like, I've been trying to chill.
You're like, I've walked past the sink every day this week. I've put every one of my dishes in the dishwasher. That is all you, and I would start bubbling and that would feed into her tension and then that would make her stressed. And that's just not the way to do it.
Yeah.
I think dividing chores is great. I think something for her was I wanted things done by like a certain time. I had to let go of that. That's not going to happen. She worked from home. She had a busy schedule. So I started saying at some point today, I need you to do this. And then that way she can do it whenever. It could be right before bed. It could be first thing in the morning. It could be in the middle of the day. It doesn't matter. But that gave her the ability to like, at whenever's best for her with her schedule, she could do it. Something else that was really helpful for her was I was like, I don't care what your room looks like. I don't care what your bedroom looks like. What I care about is like the kitchen and the living space, like the areas that we share. Obviously, this is a little different with you living with your partner because you share a bedroom. But I agree with Taryn, like maybe you can have a corner that's hers. Maybe you can have like a little, like you can buy like little dividers on Amazon to kind of hide things. And that can be her like her like her corner that she can like throw her and cover it.
Or like a massive like laundry basket where it's like, you don't have to put your stuff away, but like when you're ready, if you could just scoop everything and throw it. When you want to deal with it, amazing. But like, at least it's like consolidated.
100%. There's little things like that you can do. If you do have a 2-bedroom, having separate closets, there is nothing wrong with that. Like having separate bathrooms, if that's an option, there is nothing wrong with that. Having a chore chart. Taryn and I did that when we first lived together, specifically to get Alicia into shape. It was very helpful because I was like, you have your one chore that you have to focus on every week. And like, that was like her thing. But there's nothing wrong with that.
And I think that's what like the point I was getting at in you have to focus on like, okay, what's like the main end goal we're trying to get to,
yes.
But then you can't boss or tell her how to get to that goal. And like with Alicia, it was like, okay, end of the day, the trash can is like always full. The dishes are like, it affects us.
Yeah.
So you do with that what you will. And she was like, I'm going to hire a cleaning lady to like do that. Fine. We can't like, that's what she wanted to do. Then it was like, okay, well, if you're willing to pay for that, go for it.
Yes.
And then it was like, okay, now our hands are off it because that's where the end goal is.
Yes.
So I think with her, getting her to understand like, I'm not judging you, but what I'm telling you is the way certain things affect me and make me feel. So I would love for us to come up with like, what are our hard lines? And like, what are the things that really bug us? And like, how do we then find our own way that it makes sense with us? And I think that if she loves you and she sees like, oh, wow, this is really impacting her, she's going to then be like, oh, okay, well, like, here's certain things that I can do. But you can't judge her for procrastinating things. You can't judge her for certain things, but you can say like, hey, when your clothes are all over our space, like it severely gives me anxiety. Like there's different ways you can talk through things, but it is hard, but it's doable. And I think it's going to take a lot of push and pull from you of realizing like it's not your job to change her and make her function the way that you do.
Yeah.
But you do have a right to say like, hey, these things are like really bothering me.
Yeah. And it's okay to express that. I feel like that's something I need to get better at. Instead of just saying, can you do this? I need to say, hey, I'm having a hard time.
Yeah.
This is making it difficult for me, or I'm having trouble focusing because of this, or I can't stop thinking about this. Can you help me out and just quickly do this? Like I even need to get better at that with Jackson. Like the other day we had been traveling, we were on the plane and he was so sweet and like made me dinner and let me shower first. I was like, okay, I'm going to go shower. I come back and he was sitting on the couch in dirty airplane clothes.
I'm done with you.
And I didn't want to say anything. And I was like, he just made me dinner. He let me shower first. That's so sweet. He's just trying to eat. Like, but then he didn't get up and then he was still on the couch and I brought it up and I feel like I didn't do it well. And I should have explained like, hi, the whole time we've been sitting here, I've been like, thinking about the plane being on our couch now. And I need you to change. And I should have said it better, but like, I think it's helpful for them to hear how it's bothering you.
Yeah.
And if you are able to articulate to her that this isn't me being a nitpicky, like my way or the highway. This is me literally struggling to eat.
Yeah.
Because of, I can't stop thinking about this.
Yeah.
And I think that helps put more perspective in their minds. So it's not just you being annoying, you know, because if you don't explain it, then it's just you being annoying.
Well, if you present it in a way that's a need for you because of the way it's impacting you, a partner is going to be like, oh, okay, I understand that, versus you bossing people around telling them you're wrong and you're not doing things right.
Or telling them that they're dirty. Because it's like, no, that's not what I mean. I'm not saying you're dirty. I'm saying your clothes are dirty.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you're, you know, the problem. I'm saying, can you put sweatpants on? And it was the same way with Alicia, that this is something I need to work on. I'm not saying that you're dirty. I'm just saying the dishes are bothering me.
Yeah.
And out of love for me, can you do me a favor and just put them, you know? And I think that's something that I personally, that's my thing I need to work on. It sounds like you also need to work on that as well.
And I do think, like, I had a roommate one time. I'm very weird about shared spaces being, I just think it's like when I come home, say like I come home from a long day and my brothers come over and we're gonna like sit and watch a game or something, and like there's stuff on the couch that's not mine. Like that bothers me. I'm like weird about shared spaces. Now my room can look like a hellhole, but the shared space, like it's all of ours. Like it's a respect thing. So
I feel like it's a common courtesy thing.
Yeah. I had a roommate that, like, I'd come in and I'd see stuff, and so it would bother me. So I'm like, okay, well, if this is something that affects me, then like I like took all her stuff, I would fold it up, I would like set it nicely on her bed, trying to be super respectful, but like taking her crap out from the room.
Yeah.
She was very offended by that. And because she felt like I was being like, you left your stuff out. She didn't like me touching her stuff. And so we finally had to sit, and I'm like, okay, look.
If you leave your stuff.
If there is stuff out when people come over, I'm not going to have people just like sit on top of your stuff or like throw it on the floor.
Yeah.
So for me, this is the most respectful way that I can do this. If you'd like me to do it in a different way, please let me know.
Yeah.
And so we had to like, but again, it was her assigning what she thought. She thought I was trying to say a message, where I was like, no, this isn't impacting me. Yeah. So like, I'm just going to fold your stuff up.
The message she was telling herself was you were pissed.
Exactly.
And I think that's a very common misconception for people when we as the like, we like things a certain way, say or do things. I did that with Alicia too. In my opinion, putting things on the stairs or in front of her door was helpful. I was picking it up. I was getting it out of the way. I would leave it nicely in front of her door. I didn't dump it.
Yeah.
Towards the end, I would dump it because we used to got a little tension. But like, in my opinion, I was doing the heavy lifting for her. All she had to do was on her way up, grab it. But I never like articulated that. Mm-hmm. So I think in her head, I was like,
it was a statement.
It was pick this up, exclamation point, you know? And it was like me trying to, you know, get her to do stuff.
Which there's not any way you could have won that.
Not me,
or
not
her.
This specific situation.
So I'm saying, like, no matter what you do, no matter what I did in my situation I brought up, because there was assigned motive and like message that was coming from different people, nobody's ever going to win.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's really important to not focus in on a behavior, but to focus in how it is impacting you.
Yes.
So I'm not saying like you leave your clothes everywhere and it's ridiculous, I can't even walk through it, but being like, hey, some of the things that really impact me is when a space is messy and it causes me to feel a lot of anxiety. And I know that like we operate different, but I'd love if we can find a compromise. And hopefully if you, like I said, if it's a person who loves you and cares about how they impact you, then it's going to be a conversation they're going to want to take part in.
100%.
Welcome
to Living with Someone 101. Should we make it a series?
I mean, I can't give too much in there. I've lived with a lot of roommates.
You've had, anyone, literally living with anyone, even siblings.
Do you feel though that I trained you more on living with Jackson just by like having another person besides Alicia?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I feel like Alicia prepped me for living with anyone because my biggest struggle is cleanliness.
Mess, yeah.
Luckily, Jackson is very clean. He's not messy. So I honestly, I feel like I won the jackpot.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm fine. I'm doing great. But yeah, I feel like Taryn also helped. I feel like more so you helped me learn to vocalize.
Yeah.
And like you taught me more about communicating, because Alicia and I, just simply because we're sisters,
You just coexist.
we just coexist, and there's a lot of like unspoken things that I didn't even realize was like a problem until Tara moved in, and I was like, oh.
I straight up remember one day, like I was like calling you out on like how you don't talk in the mornings, and it's like I'm always like, is she mad? Like whatever. I was like, Ashley, someday you're gonna live with a man, and he's gonna come to you one day and be like, do you even like me? And you're gonna be like, what are you talking about? And I was like, you have to like be able to be in your own space, but remember you live with someone who needs that validation of like, I'm enjoying being in this space with you.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, you're right.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because like I've noticed like how much like you are so intentional with Jackson to like give him those little check-ins.
Oh my God. Him and Alicia were teasing me about my texting the other day. And I was like, haven't I gotten better? And he was like, sometimes you're great. And he's like, other times I'm like, what I gonna break up with me? Like, what's going on? And I was like, dang, okay. Like I guess I forgot. And I haven't like, we're dating. We literally moved in together. I don't have to worry about that anymore in my head. When I like, no, I still should probably be aware of how I text him. Yeah. So then the other day he was like, do you want blah, 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 you know? And I couldn't tell you what it was about. And I was like, sure. No, nothing. And then he thumbs it up.
You're like, oh,
and I was
crap.
like, and so I was just like, sorry, I meant, that sounds amazing. Thank you so much. Exclamation point, smiley face. And he was like, there it is. And I was just like, we'll get there, guys. We will get there. I don't know why. I just can't. I don't think that way. But especially when I'm like working or filming or something or editing, like I'm just like, one word.
Yeah. Sounds great. Would love.
But anyways, we did it.
We did it.
A regular episode. I'm not scared.
Chatting.
I didn't get full body chills. Nope. I'm not nervous to walk to my car.
Nope.
It's a good day.
It is a good day. And we're going to end with a dad joke.
As always.
Ashley, do you think a frog can jump higher than a house?
No.
Why?
Because they have little legs.
Because the house can't jump, Ash.
Stupid. Because they have little legs.
Little legs.
Guys, if you made it to the dad joke, you already know the drill. We love you the mostest. Be sure to check out our Supercast account where we have tons of bonus content for you to listen to. AMAs, solo episodes, spooky stories. It's still going on over there. So check us out over there. Be sure to follow us on socials, and we'll talk to you soon.
Love you
so much.
Okay, bye.